Hey guys, so I'm going to be making a recipe tonight, and I found the recipe just with Pinterest. You know, you start here and then you follow this pin and this pin and this pin. So this is called the Holy Grail pizza crust. I will link the website below. And Dan and I tried it, I want to say last week, and it was really good. We were actually really surprised. The texture is really good. It's similar to pizza crust. And so I'm going to be making it for you tonight. I'm going to make two different kinds, and I kind of want to see how it holds up as far as next day, how it tastes too. So we're making a little bit of extra. And so here we go. Okay, so Daniel is going to be making tea in the background, so you'll hear some noises. The recipe calls for 1.5 cups of shredded cheese. This is a 1/2 cup measure. And I'm making two different bowls. I haven't tried doubling the recipe, which is why I'm doing it in two different bowls. So there's the first one. Okay, so here is the second bowl. Okay, so part one of this recipe is to melt the cheese in the microwave. And I don't know the exact amount of time in this case. When I did it the other day, I just kind of watched it. So this recipe also calls for an egg, a dollop of cream cheese, and 3/4 cup plus or minus a tablespoon of almond meal. I actually used almond flour. So not quite melted, but I'm just gonna give it a little stir here. I'm just gonna read the recipe to you. It says, place cheese in a medium bowl, microwave till melted. Let it cool enough to handle with hands. Add the rest of ingredients, mix until it forms a ball, spread thin, bake until edges are brown. Take it out, top with ingredients, then broil till melted and hot. That's the other thing I still need to do, is line my cookie sheets with parchment. It's actually something Daniel and I talked about today, is I need to get some cookie sheets because I've been using lame pans and I need to wash them, and I'm going to cover them with parchment anyway. Okay, so this is getting a little bit closer, but not quite. So this is pretty well melted, and we're going to let it cool down just a little bit because we will be using it to form into a ball. I'm actually going to go ahead and put my dollop of cream cheese on here now. Like a tablespoonish. The blogger said that to really be patient when you're letting your cheese cool down because she's burned herself a few times. So just kind of moving it around to help it to cool down. So here's pan number 2. I'm going to go ahead and do my dollop of cream cheese on this one. Alright, close this. Let that cool a little bit. So next step is going to be the 3/4 cup of almond flour or almond meal. This is just a 1/4 cup measure. I'm just gonna do the 3/4 cup. I'm gonna do an egg, and that's it. And I'm gonna wait till I have both of these mixed up before I preheat the oven. I just don't want it to get too hot just yet. All right, then you just start mixing. Oop, but don't get a shell in there like I did. All right. The other thing I found was the cream cheese seemed to want to stay in a clump for me last time. So make sure to kind of spread it out. I know it looks pretty gross, but I promise you it tastes really good. So I'm going to put a little bit more almond meal on this one, almond flour. Okay. Take your pan, put it right in the middle, and you start spreading. Now obviously, the thinner the better, but it can be kind of hard when it's sticking in your hands like this. So just do your best. Okay, that's good for pizza number 1. And pizza number 2 should be cool enough to handle. I think. Okay, so 1, 2. I'm going to do a little bit extra. Got my egg. I got the cream cheese. So the almond flour I found in my bulk bin at Winco. And I think it was something like $7 a pound. And I haven't really shopped around too much to know how good of a deal that is or if that's average. I'm trying to get used to the flavor of almond flour. It's just definitely a different texture. I've made a batch of cookies with it. They were okay. I'm still going to work on that recipe before I share it with you guys. Okay, same thing, just spreading it out. All right, I think that looks good. I'm gonna wash up and get these in the oven. Okay, so here is what the crusts look like when you take them out. They were in there about 15 minutes or so. It's getting brown around the edges. So from here, you can top it with whatever you'd like. So I'm gonna put some pizza sauce on here. This is just Prego. It has some sugar in it, so I'm gonna try not to use too much of it. This one puffed up just a little bit. All right. So I'm going to put some cheese down. We just like to use this shredded cheddar and Monterey Jack mix. I'm not really measuring the cheese, I'm just kind of using it as a scoop in a sense. Then when you put it back in the oven, you can either put it in the broiler, under the broiler, or it's currently at 425. They suggested just moving the rack up a bit. Something to keep in mind with the broiler, something like this, when it sticks up, will catch on fire. And we almost lost the last pizza. It was kind of funny. All right, I'm gonna do the pineapple one first. I don't think I'm gonna use all of this pineapple. Although who knows, maybe. I think that's good. I have some leftover ham. The other thing I'm going to do is we have these sliced almonds. I'm going to put a little bit of those on there. When I was growing up, my favorite pizza was Hawaiian, which had slivered almonds on it, and it was really good. Okay, pizza number one done. Pizza number two. I like to pre-chop a bunch of green onions and keep them in the freezer just to add to dishes. So I'm gonna do some green onion. I'll add these to scrambled eggs when we do breakfast in the morning. All sorts of stuff. I've got some frozen green pepper. Same deal. It's just rare that we would ever use a full green pepper and stuff, and I don't like to chop it multiple times, which is why it works really good when it's frozen. We've got some leftover olives. You could really put whatever you wanted on this. And I've got some pepperoni. Normally I like to chop up the pepperoni a little bit, but I'm not going to take the time to do that, so we'll just put some on here. Okay, I'm gonna get these in the oven. Okay, so here's how the pizza turned out. It was in for about 7 to 10 minutes, basically just to heat up the toppings and melt the cheese. I'm gonna see if I can do a close-up without burning myself. And there we go. So we're gonna let this cool off just a little bit and then we will taste it for you. So to cut this, I'm just going to get it on this cutting board here. I'm just gonna do some rough cuts. I'm gonna go ahead and put them all on each plate, and then from there we'll choose which ones we want, but this way I can use the same cutting board for both. So I'm gonna try and get close-ups of these as I cut them so you can get an idea. There we go. So you can see in the inside of the crust there, very similar to bread crust, if I do say so. Okay, putting overboard. There we go. Now this one, it looks like I got it a little bit thinner. I think thinner is better because you're going to get it crispier. Sorry, I just take a piece. So there's inside. Okay, I'm gonna clean up. I'll be right back. All right, so I have a surprise taste tester. So he's agreed to try the pizza. Well, we had it the other night, but
on camera.
On camera. All right, so I got the Canadian bacon and pineapple one. So I'm gonna give it a shot, and Dan got one of each, so.
Got both.
We got both.
Regular again because it was delicious.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the crust really has a chew to it, which kind of resembles real pizza. So if you're trying to do low carb, I think this is a really, really good replacement.
No, it has that back of your throat, feels like dough feel. It's good.
It's really good. And it's really good with the pineapple. I think you're going to like this one because the ham is a little bit sweet and kind of roasted from the oven.
Don't tell me what it's going to be like. I
don't want to spoil it.
I don't want to prejudge. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's really good. So I'm going to show you the bottom of the crust just so you can kind of see. It looks like pizza crust to me. Dan got a really crispy edge.
So it gets crispy. It's like that's where you taste almond. That's where you taste the nut part. But right in the middle, it's kind of soft and not too crispy. So good.
Well, and I think even the crispy part is kind of a nice, texture change too.
I think we had like pan pizza style, so it like had edges that were a little thicker, so it didn't get all crusty in the end.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, but.
Here's a close-up of what the edges look like. But all right, it's winter. The other one we've done is...
I don't want to stop eating.
I know, I don't either. I'm really hungry. The other one we've done was a pizza, and I might do a recipe on video on that one too. But basically, you like this better. I like this better too, a lot better. But that one, you take hamburger and you season it with 1 egg, seasonings and an egg, some Parmesan cheese, and then you do it as thin as possible on the bottom of a pan, bake that, and then that's your crust, and then from there you put the pizza toppings on. So that's pretty good too. I mean, we've done that a few times, but this is better.
I feel like you eat the pizza just to say you ate a pizza, so you can brag about how low carb you are, whereas this tastes like real pizza. Pizza is just a big hunk of meat, and it's good, but this is pretty freaking amazing.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Leave lots of comments as to what you think. If you try it, I would love to know. And like I said, I'll leave the link below to where I found this. So talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.